this, a big and controversial announcement from the White House today about school bathrooms.
The Obama administration is directing schools across the country to allow transgender students to use bathrooms and locker rooms consistent with their gender identity. We have team coverage for you tonight. Renee LaSalle spoke to Columbus City Schools about the new policy, and Colleen Marshall is at the Watch for Alert desk to talk about this directive. Colleen?
Well, it's all new, Ellie. The White House directive calls on schools in every state to allow students to use the restroom of the gender they identify with, regardless of what might be on their birth certificate. Officials say the guidelines are an attempt to clarify civil rights protections for transgender students. A term paper of sorts from the White House. This letter sent to every school district in the country with new terms and conditions for administrators, ordering them to allow transgender students to use bathrooms of the gender they identify with.
The challenge here is not to isolate anybody. It's not to discriminate against anybody. It's not to make anybody unsafe. It's actually to ensure that our schools are as inclusive and respectful and safe as they can possibly be.
The White House letter does not carry the force of law, but does warn that schools that don't comply could face legal action or a loss of federal funds.
Well, in Texas, he can keep his 30 pieces of silver. We will not yield to blackmail from the President of the United States.
Lawmakers in Texas, parents in Georgia.
Have we forgotten that our schools belong to our community?
And opponents across the country say the mandate just doesn't make the grade.
It has nothing to do with anyone being against a transgender child or a gay child. This has everything to do with keeping the federal government out of local issues.
As the school year ends its difficult and controversial final exam, not for students, but instead the nation, with a current grade of incomplete. Now, the president's critics say this is just another example of his administration wading into matters that should be decided by states and local communities. The White House says it's an effort to protect transgender children from discrimination. Ellie?
All right, thanks, Colleen. So with this new directive from the White House, we wanted to know how the area's largest school district will respond. NBC4's Renee LaSalle is live tonight. And Renee, you spoke to the Columbus City Schools superintendent. What did he have to say about this?
Well, Ellie, I tell you what, Dr. Dan Good said that transgender students in Columbus City Schools already have access to facilities like bathrooms and locker rooms according to their gender identity. He says it's just the right thing to do and part of a policy adopted 2 years ago. At least one grandmother, that is, here at Ridgeview Middle School agrees.
I figured there shouldn't be any problems in the restroom. They've got stalls in there, and they got doors on there.
Deb Harris doesn't have a problem with transgender bathroom access.
Me, I don't pay attention to anybody when I'm in the restroom or anything. I'm just worried about me.
She's got 2 grandkids at Ridgeview Middle School and says she supports that Columbus City Schools includes gender identity in its non-discrimination policy.
It's more of an imperative now than it was, not just a good idea. It's what's right.
Dr. Dan Good says gender identity was added to the non-discrimination clause 2 years ago, long before the Obama administration addressed transgender access to sex-segregated restrooms, locker rooms, and other facilities. There has been backlash to the president's statements. Local activist David Daubenmire even posting this video today.
So now they want to take your public schools, which you pay for, your dollars go to, and tell you you can't have your money if you don't let men, young boys, and young girls go into the shower together.
Harris says she can't support discrimination of any kind.
You really cannot discriminate against anybody, and I'd hate for anyone to do it to any one of these two.
Now, Bexley Schools has just adopted a new policy on gender identity and access. We've posted it and the Columbus City Schools non-discrimination policy on our website. You can find the link on my Facebook page. For now, reporting in Columbus, Renee LaSalle, NBC4.
Renee, thank you. And we wanted to know your thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you agree with the Obama administration's directive to allow transgender students to use the bathroom of the gender they identify with? We've posted a poll on our NBC4 Facebook page and our Twitter account. We hope you'll chime in and let us know what you think.
The White House directive comes after a clash over North Carolina's so-called bathroom law. That law requiring people to use the bathroom of the gender listed on their birth certificate. North Carolina's governor filed a lawsuit against the Obama administration Monday, saying a court, not a federal agency, needs to give direction on the requirements of this law. The Department of Justice shot back with a lawsuit of its own, and the Attorney General delivered some strong words as well. The showdown in North Carolina could lead to a landmark decision.
New